Good morning. It is Wednesday, the 24th of July, 2024, and the Lord will not let me get out of the book of Nehemiah, so we're just going to continue on with the Nehemiah Connection, Part 6, and I'm going to call this the Enemy's Messaging and Assassination Plot. So in Chapter 6, Nehemiah was finishing the wall and was getting ready to set the final gates to close up the entire project. And during that project time, the Sanballat and Geshem had sent messages to Nehemiah 4 times requesting that he come away from the project and meet them in a distant area where he would be unflanked, unguarded, so they could meet with him and to negotiate. Well, what a lie. Nehemiah said, I'm going to stick with my project. I'm not coming down off the wall. So as they got closer and closer to finishing the wall, the request heightened. There was a 5th request that actually came in a letter, and the letter was filled with lies. What they said was the Jews, the Sanballat and Geshem, and anyone else that was associated with them that wanted to persecute Nehemiah and not have this wall rebuilding successful, they were going to push to basically take Nehemiah out, put a bullseye on him, as we've heard said recently. So what happened is they said that the Jews are planning to rebel, and they have appointed you as their king. Now, does this not sound very familiar to us of what we're hearing in the media today about conservative Christians, about the Republican Party, and about President Trump? They say he's going to be a Führer, he's going to be a dictator, he's going to be a Hitler, et cetera, and that we are planning to rebel, and they want to put targets on us to be able to silence our voices. Well, that's an unfortunate situation. But wisely, when Nehemiah was attacked in this way, he came back with this message. He said, such things that you are saying have not been done, but you are inventing them in your own mind. So much of what we hear has been invented and speculated on in the minds of people. It is not based on fact. We have to take the time to vet things out for ourselves. It's one thing to get something from one source, but you need to be a good journalist for your own personal life and be able to research and say, what are both sides of the story, and ask the Lord to show you what the truth is. That is our responsibility. We want to rightfully divide the truth. We don't want to persecute or go after anybody unrighteously. We do not want to harm anyone, but we want to be able to stand firm on the truth and know God will be our protector. So he said, you are inventing them in your own mind. For all of them are trying to frighten us, thinking the Jews will become discouraged with the work and it will not be done. But now, oh God, strengthen my hands. So that's a prayer that we can pray, is to ask God to strengthen our hands in our times of persecution, where where we have evil people pursuing us, and they want to basically entrap us and snare us in something because they want something that we have, or they want to silence something of truth that we are willing to share. So be very, very aware of the babbling badgers, the wolves in sheep clothing, and the enemy's message and the messaging and assassination plots, because they are everywhere. And it may not be a physical assassination of someone's body, but it could be an assassination of your business or your family, or something that's going on that would the enemy will try to come in and T-bone your success, your progress to build on something, a vision that God has given you. Remember, Nehemiah had this vision in his heart. He had a burden to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, and he had an assignment, and he went to complete it, to run the course of the race that God had set before him. That is where we need to be, strong and bold and not willing to back up. So here is one more assassination attempt on Nehemiah. And it came at the end of this chapter, and it says, as Shemaiah contacted him, he said, let us meet together in the house of God within the temple. So lure him into a space where he knew he revered God. He said, but Shemaiah went on to say, for they are coming to kill you, and they are coming to kill you at night. But Nehemiah said, should a man like me flee? We are not called to flee. And could one such as I go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in. Then Nehemiah goes on to say, and this is something that I encourage you to ask God to give you perception and revelation in the knowledge of him. We talked about that in Ephesians a couple of weeks ago. You need to ask God for perception and revelation knowledge. So Nehemiah says, then I perceived that surely God had not sent him, but he uttered his prophecy against me because Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. So there are so many things that are coming against us. Satan comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. You have to know that God is your source of supply. So ask the Lord to strengthen your hands in all the battles that you are engaged in. Pray for our nation. Pray for President Trump. I pray for every candidate that God will raise up the righteous and move away the unrighteous, that our nation will be protected, our borders will be rebuilt. But we need to recognize that we are under attack, and the only way we're going to survive that attack is to refer back to the Word of God. So thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to continue on with Nehemiah. This is a rich, rich thing, and this is actually a blueprint, I believe, for the reformation of a nation. So I'm just going to continue on until God tells me to wrap it up. Have a great day. I'll see you on Thursday.